Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the film. Today, I'm going to get back on that subject of deer damage. Um, I guess this is more of a subject of maybe deer control. And why am I looking at cattle? Well, any deer hunter that's been around cattle know that they're very similar. About the only difference between personalities of the two are probably the fact that deer are afraid of humans and cattle, for the most part, aren't. In fact, they trust them and rely on them. So, yeah, back to the similarities. So, I have a little, where that wire panel is, that's kind of my training pen to train the younger cattle over there to respect the electric fence. And that electric fence that I have in there isn't, I mean, it's not, I guess it's a fence, but it's this rope. It's, it's rope with wire in it, and it'll still shock them if they touch it. But the good part is they can see it really well, and so they learn to respect it a lot faster than they would at something that they can't see. And the reason it's actually completely surrounded by wire panel, or the panels right now, just because those little calves just aren't smart enough to know that if they touch it they should back up. They usually go forward, and that's what deer do. Well, like, this is all going to be pasture. This soybean patch is going to be all pasture after the soybeans are off. So I had to put a fence up anyway, and so I put that wire, or the rope, all the way around it. I mean, you can see it. I mean, we're 100 yards away, and you can see it. And there's no doubt in my mind that whatever these Japanese beetles left, the deer would eat. If this fence wasn't around it. And I saw it. When I first put the fence up, deer still ran through it. It's high tensile fence, so they didn't rip it down when they ran through it. But they ran through it. And one by one, they probably all got a shock when they did that. And they kind of decided, you know what? Maybe I'll go eat some alfalfa instead of those soybeans. So, I mean, if this was the only thing they had to eat besides sticks out in the woods, they'd probably still jump the fence, but they don't have to. And there again, cattle, I mean, see, they're reaching under the fence and eating the soybeans, just like deer would, but they're not. So that leads me to the next subject. Okay, now I'm standing out in that spot in my field where the deer had pretty well devastated it. Since we got some rain, the beans kind of started to keep up a little. I mean, they're still definitely not bumper crop beans, but there's something there at least. You can see them. But anyway, back to the similarities between cattle and deer. Like, their vision is pretty well the same. I don't know. I've heard they don't have very good depth perception, and but yet they can see pretty much all the way around them. I don't know how they do it, but I mean, if you're trying to chase cattle, you're better off being off to their side than you are, anywhere else. Or if you're leading a cow, you can almost stand behind them and just kind of walk side by side with them if you want them to turn. But yeah, and they're creatures of habit, both species. That's why you see all the cow paths in a pasture, or you see deer trails in the woods. They like to kind of keep the same path. And then if they know what they want to eat. I mean, if you come out here and you see a deer eating in the field, a cow would be the same way. I mean, if you set her in this area, she's not gonna go to the woods and eat sticks and woody type plants. She's going to come out to the beans and eat just like a deer would. So working with that, working with all those things, if my finances approve it, this fall I'm going to put up a fence. This is going to be black beans next year, which at least probably this half of the field would end up looking just like that. So I'm gonna pencil it out, and if it seems to be worth it, which it probably will. I mean, it wouldn't take very many bags of beans to pay for a fence. Not gonna do it all, just this fence line here and just basically the perimeter. And eventually the idea is to have cattle in my rotation anyway, so I gotta eventually put up a fence. So that's the plan. And then I'm gonna put that white rope wire stuff in it. One strand of it will be that, just so the deer can see it. And they might say, well, I could try to jump that fence and I could take a chance on getting a zap, or I could just go to the neighbor's field and eat. Or I'll eat this stick. I don't want to get zapped. That's the whole plan. That's the hope. I don't know. I can't see where it's going to hurt anything, and if I try this field and it seems to be making a difference, I think I'll go ahead and do it. This field here, I'm never going to plant black beans again. Well, I'll never say never, but I guess I just did. But anyway, I don't plan on it, just because it's just going to be oats or rye or clover or something that I can afford for the deer to munch on. So anyway, I guess that's about it for today. I appreciate you guys watching, and really appreciate the guys who subscribed. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully I'll get better at this editing and the volume. That's my biggest thing I don't like, is my volume just doesn't. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in the butt to watch these because of the volume. So I'll get some better equipment eventually, but for now, just hang in there, and please keep watching, and please keep subscribing, and I guess we'll talk to you later, and take her easy.